Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thought I'd do something a little different today. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a follow-up to a video I did last year when I first got my kayak and my first impressions of the Old Town Sportsman PDL 120. I'll go over kind of the things that I've learned over the past year, what I love about the boat, what I wish was better about the boat, and just the key elements of this boat. I'll break it down into categories and just go over a few of the key elements like stability, storage on the kayak, how easy it is to load and unload. I'll do a follow-up of how my roof rack is done in the past year, because I'm still car topping this boat for the most part. I'll go over things like the rudder, the pedal drive, how it paddles, how it does in shallow water, any mods that I've done to it. And I'll just break it all down and I'll put in little pieces of video here and there. I also did a flip test with this thing in a pool just to show you the stability of it. So I'll break it all down, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. But we'll start this out with number one. I actually did a flip test of this boat in a pool just to show you just how stable this boat is. So I'll go ahead and play that right now. We're going to do a stability test on this kayak, just see what the limits are on this thing. See how pretty stable it is. It takes a lot to flip these things. I mean, I could probably stand up here on the bow. Let's see. I don't know if I'll be able to turn around without falling off. Yeah, it takes a lot to flip this kayak, so let's see if I can turn around and walk to the back. I mean, I don't know how you could flip this kayak without trying to flip this kayak. I mean, I'm even standing on one side of it now. It takes a lot to flip this thing. One other thing that I've never tried, but I've heard people talk about, is the fact that should this drive fall out of your kayak, it apparently floats. So let's put that to the test. I would say that is completely accurate. We'll also do a test on the inside of the hatch to see if it's waterproof, because now it's been submerged a few times, because off camera we've actually flipped this thing and tried re-entries. Let's go ahead and flip it this way. It took a lot to flip. Woo! That was fun. So now that I've already flipped it, I'm going to simulate what it would be like if I had my dog out here with me and flipped it and get her back into the kayak. See if I'm able to do that. Now she weighs 95 pounds. It wasn't easy. This kayak's so stable, it never even moved. What do you think about that, Bogey? One thing about this boat, when I first got it, I was a little nervous in it. And I've taken on some really big waves. I'll show you some of those right here. Shit. But this boat is super stable out on the water. The more I'm in it, the more comfortable I get with it, and the more I realize that it would take a lot to flip this kayak. I'm impressed with the stability on this thing. I'll also show you some footage of just me standing in the boat with the drive up. You can see not much water comes in. I mean, if you lean and do like that, water comes in. Show you some footage of me standing with the drive down. If this is closed, yet a little bit comes in, but whatever comes in drains out really fast. The dry storage within the drive, I've never had any issue of water getting in there. Inside the actual kayak itself for just a daily use on the water, never had a drop of water in there. I did have a little bit of water in there when we did the flip test, and I flipped it I think 3 times in the pool that day, and I did get some water inside the hull of the boat during that test, but none inside the drive. Oh, there is a little bit of water inside here. I've had no complaints with the drive. It's run smooth for the entire year that I've had it. I did have a little bit of a squeak in my pedal when I first got it, but I sprayed it with a little WD-40 and I've never had an issue with it since then. I probably will upgrade to some bicycle pedals. A lot of people do that, and I kind of see the value in that, because the pedals on these pedal drives from the factory, when your shoes are wet, it does tend to slip a little bit. So I'll probably end up upgrading to the bike pedals in the future. For the most part, the drive does really well in grass. I mean, you do have to clear it out every once in a while. It's really easy to clear out. I'll show you some footage of just how easy that is right now. A lot of times what you can do to kind of clear the prop of some grass, if it's not too caked on there, is you can just go in reverse and then go forward and go reverse, forward again, and sometimes that'll clear out the grass off the prop. The durability of the prop, I'd say, is, you know, I haven't really hit anything with it over the last year. I did hit ground one time with it, but I think the actual drive took the brunt of that hit. But I've yet to break any props, knock on wood, this year. I did bend out a shear pin within the prop. That was super simple to replace. Old Town actually gave me a second one when I got the kayak, so it didn't cost me anything to replace that, and it was super simple to do. The seat on this kayak is incredibly comfortable. I've never had an issue with the seat. The one knock on the seat that I don't like, and I'll show you footage of it right here, but it's the little clips that slide into the track. I don't understand why they're not fixed on the seat. They're just put on here with this little bungee, and I mean, if the bungee breaks, you lose one of those seat clips, then you're not going to be able to use the seat. So I wish that in future models for that, Old Town makes them fixed to the seat themselves. I think it would be an easy fix. The storage on this kayak is impressive, to say the least. I mean, it's got the whole storage in the front hatch that you can get a lot of stuff in. In fact, I use the Wilderness cart, and if you really wanted to, you could break down that cart and stow it inside when you're on the water. But I usually have so much storage in the back of the kayak, I usually just put the cart behind my tackle crate, because I don't even use that space behind my tackle crate. And I mean, I have a tackle crate and a cooler and my cart all in the rear tank well, and I feel like I still have plenty of room back there. So the storage on here is top notch. In terms of paddling this kayak, it moves through the water okay. It does get a little sluggish at times. It's not the fastest boat in the world to paddle, but it's easy to do, and you can get into some shallow water. I'll show you some footage of just how shallow I've had this kayak with the drive up. The easiest way that I've found to load this kayak fully loaded, because one thing is, when this thing is loaded, it is a heavy boat. Be prepared to have it well over 100 pounds fully loaded. So the easiest way that I've found to load it, and I'll show some video of that, but I usually just float the boat onto the water and push my wilderness cart up underneath the kayak and get it into position. And I'll show you how I clip that in. I've added a little thing to my cart to strap it down, and I'll show you video of how I get it out of the water right here. Some of the cons that I would say about the kayak is I don't understand why they didn't have gear track in the back tank well of this kayak. But I did go ahead and add those in, and you'll see that in the full gear review. It was pretty simple to do, haven't had any issues with it. But I just don't understand why on this model Old Town didn't put the gear track in the back. They have it on the AP 120, so I don't know why they didn't do it on this model. That's something that really should have been added. One of the other cons that I find with the kayak is the rudder that comes with the boat in current. So I'm out here on the Delta a lot, and I find it happens more here. But with that little plastic rudder, and I do plan to upgrade, but with the rudder that comes with the boat in current, it just doesn't track well with that rudder. I don't know what it is, but it's just not strong enough. On a lake or pond or whatever, it's totally fine, but out here when there's current and wind, it struggles to maintain your position. But like I said, I plan to upgrade the rudder, go to a sturdier rudder. And Navarre Kayak actually sells a bolt that goes on the rudder that's supposed to help out with a lot of that flex, so I may get that as well. I've got several things from Navarre Kayak. I'll show you those in my gear setup as well. I've enjoyed his products. They're really good mods for the kayak. And my biggest complaint with the kayak is the under seat storage. They've added these rod stagers underneath the seat that I absolutely never use and really don't know why they put them there, because even with that and you're pedaling, the rod is just in a bad spot. That would never be a spot that I would put a rod unless maybe I was floating a little skinny river and there was lots of trees or something and I just wanted to lay them down to get them out of the way. But other than that, I would never lay them at my feet. So the rod stagers, all they do is take up space underneath your seat that would be way more useful if they weren't there and it was just flat storage. Now I have modified a tray to fit under the seat. I got this oil pan to put under the seat, but I had to cut it because of those rod stagers. Had the rod stagers not been there, that tray would fit under there perfect. No cutting needed. I really hope in future models they just eliminate those rod stagers, because for me at least, they're absolutely pointless and it actually takes away from storage in the boat. So over the last year, like I said, I've been using the Malone temporary rack on top of my car. It's worked great for me. I don't know if I would recommend it to everyone, just because my car is really not a nice car and the paint job's kind of flaking and everything, so I don't really care so much about the car. But if you had a nice car and you were using this system, it could do a little bit of damage to your car. Not much, I mean maybe scrape here or there, but if you value your car, you're probably not going to want to use the temporary rack system. But I've had zero issues with it coming loose at highway speeds. I mean, I've taken it so far, the longest that I've had it on top of the car has been about an hour and a half drive, and it doesn't budge. So I would feel totally confident taking it on a longer trip, and it works for me. I can't really say that I would recommend it for everybody just because of what it could potentially do to your car. So we'll do a full gear setup. I'll walk you through the kayak of how I've set it up over this last year, and yeah, we'll put the footage up right now. All right, this is going to be the full rig setup when I take it out on the water. I'll do a walkthrough, show you everything. We'll start out up here at the front. I just have this little tie down here. I use this a lot on my car to tie down the front, and if I'm at a boat dock or something, I can use it there. We got the front hatch here. I keep some things in here all the time. Got this little Plano box in here, just velcroed, and I just usually keep my rod holders, some spare parts, and a little first aid safety kit there. So that just pretty much always stays in the hull of the boat. I always keep a pair of rain pants, rain jacket, because I've been stuck out there before and got wet. And then in here, I just keep a bag. I keep it it's got this little Velcro carabiner that goes around the post in there, and it's just some odds and ends, you know, a sponge, got an extra prop, we got some gloves, some tape, some tools, some toilet paper, dry set of clothes in there. All right, close that up, and then when I'm out on the water, I usually just lay my net right here. Got it in a roto grip holder there. And then coming down here, got the Yak Attack double header, and you can attach like rod holder or any other accessory here. I like this double header because it gets it off of the rail, so you're still able to use the rail. Before, I was just using roto grips and it would just take up that whole space, so I like it much better. Of course, in the In the drive itself, I just keep my keys, a wallet, a strap, just odds and ends. I don't get in here very often. Keep money in there for launch fees and just odds and ends, like I said. Here's a new addition. I bought this piece here from Navarre Kayak. When the drive's down, you can kind of rest some rods in here, or you can attach a roto grip here. I've got the roto grip here. You can put a rod in there, or you can rest your net on there as well. I also have a plate cover here from Navarre Kayak. I thought I'd use it a lot more. I really don't use it a whole lot. When I'm not using it, I just store it right there under the seat. One thing that I've modified and added to the kayak is I've put these little tie downs here, replacing just a regular screw. And all of these is in the back of the kayak, there's some bungee strap ones, and there's a couple extras of those, and I just added them there, and that way I can attach my pliers there and then just leave those in there. I hardly ever use this side other than just baits and some soft plastics or anything like that. And on my seat, I carry a towel with me. Just keep that leashed on there. And then on this side, I just keep the donkey leash for when I catch a fish, get him back in the water so I can get set up, take pictures and stuff. And I just keep that on that side. Under the seat, I have made this tray here to just carry more junk, more odds and ends, just my tools, scissors, scale. I also have this from Navarre Kayak to change out the prop should I need to out on the water. If I break the prop, I've got the little wrench to do that. Got some extra leader lines, some extra baits, pair of sunglasses. It looks like I need to re-glue this, but I just glued a magnet here in this tray, and then I put some Velcro here for my wacky rig tool there. I like this tray because it has this cutout here that goes over the knob when the drive is down. It makes it easy to slide right over that. Coming back to this side, I just keep a cooler right behind the seat. Keep some extra stuff strapped to the seat. Backup scale. I got a light, flashes for the early morning launches. Some WD-40, Leatherman, some more leader line. Then I just recently added this boomstick here for the rear camera. And I got my tackle crate in the back. Usually carry 5 rods with me. I got 4 on the crate, and then I usually just put one here. Now I have added these extra rails in the back on both sides. And I added some rail here on the back. This plate is from Navarre Kayak as well. And it just goes into the shallow anchor mount point here. And then I've got this bolted. I use this to tie down to the car, and then I keep my cart strapped to that while it's in here. And then on this side, this is not the best option for this catch board. Kind of want to find a better option for this, but right now it just sits right there. Got it leashed to my chair because I did lose one of these. They do sink. Like I said, I added track here to the other side as well, and then I've got a tie down right here, and I just use the bending branches paddle. Surprisingly, even with a pedal kayak, you still end up using the paddle quite a bit, especially out here on the Delta. So that's pretty much my setup so far. I kind of got it where I want it. Works for me. I'm sure I'll tweak it here and there, but this past year with this kayak, I've absolutely loved it. I've caught some really good fish out of this kayak in the last year. If you have any questions regarding how I rigged this up, or any suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. I'm always down to hear, someone else's ideas that work for them. Maybe it could work for me as well. So if you have any other questions about the kayak itself, or you're thinking about getting it and you wanting to know, is it worth it and do I enjoy it? Well, I loved it so much that I went ahead and purchased the PDL 106 for my wife. We both absolutely love the kayaks. If you have any questions about it, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. I'd be glad to answer them. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, you found it useful, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and like I said, leave me some comments, ask me some questions about the kayak. I'd be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.